Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review. And today we're taking a very quick look at the MasterVerse, Masters of the Universe, New Eternia, Ram Man. And I know this figure's been out for a couple of months at this point. It's not the newest thing ever, but I'm excited about it. So I wanted to put together a quick video because the figure looks amazing. But let's go ahead and get right into it, starting off with the packaging. Through the window, you are able to see Ram Man along with all the cool accessories. Down here it says Masters of the Universe, New Eternia. On the side of the box, we get some really dope looking artwork. They always kill it with the artwork on the MasterVerse figures. On the back, same thing, some amazing artwork. And then we get a little bit of information about Ram Man. And then down here, we get a look at some other figures that were recently released. And that's about it for the packaging. It is collector friendly and all that good stuff. But enough about the box. Let's go ahead and get Ram Man out and take a look. Ooh, dang. Okay, so here we have Ram Man right out of the box. And check him out. As you could see, this is a really cool looking figure. Very well sculpted, some great articulation, some nice paint work. And, you know, they did something really interesting with the legs. So, as you could see, the joints are not visible. And that's because his legs are covered in these, like, tubes. I don't know exactly what this material is, but it's like a soft, rubbery type of material. And, you know, when I see stuff like this, I just think, like, man, like, how long can this stuff last? You know, eventually this is going to crack or something. Hopefully that's not the case with Ram Man. It does feel pretty durable, so hopefully it holds up. I think it looks pretty cool. And it doesn't really get in the way of the joint at all. Like, you could still bend the leg quite a bit. So that's pretty cool. One thing you need to be aware of with this guy, before you start bending the leg, you have to make sure that the knee is facing the right direction, because on mine it was slightly twisted. So I think it was something like this. So I was trying to bend it and I was like, man, what's going on? But then I felt around in there and I realized that the leg was twisted a little bit. And then once I moved it, you know, I was able to bend it just fine. So that's something to be mindful of. You don't want to just grab this guy and start bending his legs without making sure they're facing the right direction. But man, look at that. That's a dope looking figure. Mattel definitely did a great job on this guy. But let's go ahead and get in close and take a look at the details on him, because like with all MasterVerse figures, this guy has a bunch of incredible sculpting work. And starting from the top with the head sculpt, I think they did a really nice job with this. I like how we have the face peeking out through the front of the helmet, and the face itself has some really nice detail. It's really well painted. The eyes look good. Everything is clean. The facial expression looks nice. And yeah, I think that looks dope. And I like the helmet too, how it has all these little dings and marks, and it looks kind of jacked up, you know. And the helmet and the shoulder pads have a really cool metallic finish. It's not too shiny or anything. It's perfect. It's got some nice like weathering and texture and stuff. And we have some chains and some rivets and then some more like damage. Looks like he's ran through a couple of mountains and towers and all kinds of different types of things. On the back we have some like coils or springs or something. Yeah, so I love the armor in the helmet. Looks really cool. Then moving down to the rest of the figure, as you can see right here on the lower torso, it looks like he's wearing a shirt or something. You could see some texture in there. I mean, obviously he's wearing some type of clothing, but yeah, you can see that it's textured on there. And then we have the strings coming down the front, or like the threads coming down the front. And then he does have this cool looking belt buckle. And I think that's like a weird looking skull or something. I don't know. And the belt looks nice. It's all very well sculpted. Yeah, it looks really clean. And then on the arms, we have the pinless joints, which are awesome. And then these forearm, I don't know what they're called, protectors. And they have kind of a metallic look too. So yeah, that looks good. And then his skirt piece is like soft plastic, so it doesn't really get in the way of the articulation. I just worry about this soft plastic leaning up against this, or resting on this soft plastic for an extended period of time. Hopefully that doesn't cause any problems. And then yeah, check out the weird legs. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then down to the feet. I like how he has the shell toes. I mean the steel toes, the shell toes. And then check out this. On the back of this foot, he's got like a little button. So I did a little bit of research on Ram Man. And I think, you know, the whole reason for the legs to be like this is because on the original figure, he had like this weird spring. Like, yeah, his whole like concept was that he springs into action and then runs into things. So I wonder if this is like a button or something to engage the springing mechanism in his leg, you know? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. I'm sure some of you hardcore MOTU fans could school me on that. But yeah, man, this figure looks great. It's really well sculpted, a lot of nice detail, very clean paint work, and I just love the way this guy looks. And then for accessories, Ram Man does come with 3 different heads. Each one of them is very cool. It's like different helmet styles and stuff. It would have been nice if you had a completely unmasked head, but I do like the 3 of these head sculpts. I think they look awesome on the figure. And then he does have 2 sets of hands. First off, we have a pair of fists, and then we have a set of gripping hands, and the gripping hands can be used to hold on to the axe that he comes with. And then for the final accessory, Ram Man does come with this really cool armor piece that you could put over the figure, and it completely changes the way that his armor looks. It gives him an entirely different look, and I think it's awesome. Check that out. It's got a very cool blue metallic color. Got some nice details on the front. We have the spikes on the shoulders. I love the way that the color of this armor matches this helmet. I think it works together very well. And then on the back, he does have storage for his axe, so that's always nice. And this thing is very easy to take on and off. You just unfasten it from the side and, you know, take it right off like that. So it's very easy to deal with, and I think it's very cool. This is a nice accessory that completely changes the way the figure looks. And so now for some size comparisons. Here we have Ram Man alongside the MasterVerse Beastman figures. On the left, we have the deluxe version, and on the right, we have the Revelations version. And you know, initially, when I was thinking about Ram Man, I thought that he was like this big old juggernaut Hulk type of character. But the more research I did and the more images I saw of him, you know, I came to realize that he's more of like just a stocky, not really short, but just like a stocky tank of a guy. And with that in mind, I think he looks really good next to the Deluxe Beastman. And, you know, I kind of feel like the Revelations Beastman is a little on the small side the more I see him with more figures. But yeah, I think Ram Man looks really good next to the Deluxe Beastman. And then here we have him alongside the MasterVerse Revelations He-Man and the MasterVerse 40th Anniversary He-Man. And man, I was kind of surprised to see that Ram Man is a little shorter than them. Let me know in the comments if that's accurate. That's kind of, now he kind of reminds me of Wolverine or something. I know he's not that much shorter than them, but yeah, like I said, in my mind, I thought he was like a bigger character, but he's kind of on the short side next to He-Man. For all you hardcore Masters of the Universe fans, please let me know if this is accurate, because I'm very curious now. Next up, we have him alongside the MasterVerse Man-E-Faces and the MasterVerse Whiplash. Dang, he looks tiny next to Juggernaut. Here we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Juggernaut and the NECA Mirage Comics Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles General Zog. And then here we have him alongside the Jada Toys Fei Long and the NECA Animated Series Raphael. You know what? I guess those MasterVerse figures are just kind of huge. Because putting Ram Man next to other 6-inch figures, now he looks like the way that I thought he was. But here he is alongside the Black Series Imperial Stormtrooper and the G.I. Joe Classified Torpedo. And then finally, here we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap and Marvel Legends Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. And the articulation on Ram Man is pretty impressive, especially for such a big character. There's a lot of good stuff going on here. He does have the updated torso joint. I love that they put that on him. That's definitely useful for a character like him that you're going to want to get into like running poses and punching poses and things like that. I love that they updated the torso joints on these figures, because honestly, that was really the only flaw with the first couple of waves of the MasterVerse figures. So whoever, you know, took the initiative to make sure that that got corrected, that was a good move, and the figures are definitely a lot better for it. But yeah, let's go ahead and see what we have going on with Ram Man, starting off at the head. So the head is on a ball joint, so it can move side to side. It could look down to about right there. Not a whole lot, honestly. And then it could look up to right there, which is actually pretty impressive. I didn't think it was going to be able to look up that much. So that's good. And a little bit of tilt action. So yeah, not horrible movement at the head. And then for the torso, as I mentioned, it has that new torso setup, which means it could spin all the way around. It's got a diaphragm cut that allows all kinds of great movement. Crunches forward to about right there. Goes back to about right there. A little bit more range would be cool, but I think it's pretty good right as it is, you know. Some nice side to side, and you could also twist on there, obviously. And then he does have a waist swivel, so you could twist on the waist swivel as well. But because the way they have the belt in there, it's kind of tight here at the waist. So thankfully, you have the swivel at the diaphragm cut. And then for the arms, he has ball joints at the shoulders, which would be able to go all the way around, but he has his armor. There we go. And then you could bring his arms out to the side to about right there, which is pretty nice. And let's see what else we have going on. Yeah, you know, he does have the big old shoulder pads, so they do kind of block his arms from coming up a little bit, but you know, it's kind of soft plastic, so you could get them up a pretty decent amount considering that he's wearing shoulder pads, you know. And then he does have upper bicep swivel. He does have a double jointed elbow, but because he's got big old arms, it really only gets 90. Yeah, it doesn't really get much more. And then he does have a swivel at the wrist and a hinge. And then for the legs, he could kick out to the side to about, oh, look at that. Kick out to the side to about right there. That's pretty nice. Boom. Could kick forward to about right there, which again is pretty good considering that he has like a skirt piece there. And it goes back to about right there. He has an upper thigh swivel, which you can't even see because the top, that's crazy how they did this. Like the hip area, it's identical to the like rubber overlay on the lower part of the leg. And it kind of just blends in like seamlessly, you know? That's crazy. Anyways, yeah, he's got the upper thigh swivel. He does have double jointed knees in there. And, you know, considering they're completely covered, they get some pretty good range. And then he does have a boot swivel at the foot. You could go forward to right there, up to right there, and then rocking ankles. So yeah, man, really great articulation on this guy. Let's get him into some running poses. Look at that, boom. Yeah, this guy, this is awesome. This is a really fun figure. Pretty nice running poses there. Or maybe if he wants to just go head first, boom. Yeah, this is a whole lot of fun to play around with. The fact that the legs get so much movement even when they're completely covered is really impressive. Yeah, really fun figure to play around with. Really great articulation for such a big guy. I'm very happy with what we have going on here. Alrighty, so overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, I think this is a really, really fun figure. I like so much about what's going on here. He's really well sculpted. There's a lot of detail, some nice paint work, some really great articulation, especially for such a big, hefty figure. And then the accessories are really nice too. I love that he comes with 3 different heads. I like the different hands, the axe, and the armor piece. And I love how the armor piece completely alters the way the figure looks. It's almost like getting 2 figures in one, you know, and that's always fun. And then the way they did the legs was really interesting on this guy. At first, I was kind of confused by it because it's bizarre, you know? But then once I did a little bit of research on Ram Man, I came to appreciate why they did the legs this way. It kind of pays homage to the original Ram Man figure and that whole like springing into action kind of feature, you know? So that's really cool. Mattel does a great job of modernizing the whole idea of Masters of the Universe, but also finding clever ways to pay homage to the original stuff. And that is so dope. That's like a really fine line to walk, and I think that Mattel does it great. But yeah, man, I think Ram Man came out awesome. You know, right now I want to say that he's probably one of my favorite MasterVerse figures. And, you know, that's the sign of a good line. That every time I get one of the new figures, I'm like, oh, this is one of my favorites from the line. And that seems to be the case with a lot of the recent MasterVerse stuff. So, yeah, man, they are killing it. The only problem I really had with this figure was that it was kind of hard to take the head off, you know? Like when I was changing between the 3 different heads, every single one of them had trouble getting popped on to the ball peg and then popped off. I always felt like I was going to break something. So what I did was just kind of carved out the inside of each of the heads. And after doing that, now they pop on and pop off with no problem at all. So that was really the only flaw. And that's not a big deal in my opinion. It was an easy fix. So now I'm past it. But yeah, aside from that, I think this is a really, really great figure. I'm having a whole lot of fun with it, and I think that Mattel just killed it. And they continue to be one of the most impressive lines out there with MasterVerse, you know, in my opinion anyways. I think they're doing a great job with the whole line, and Ram Man is a really good example of how fun these figures could be. But yeah, I love it. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. Thank you very much. Peace.